Ever since Stompn joined G2, a new rivalry quietly started to form in the European siege. Not necessarily between teams, but between two of the scariest fraggers in the world of Rainbow Six Siege right now, Stompn and Shaiiko. Ever since Stompn joined G2, they have faced each other 4 times. Every single one of those matches was a banger. Today we're breaking every one of those matches to see who comes on top so far, both individually and as a part of their team. But before we start, let's make this clear. This is not a career comparison between the two. Shaiiko's legacy goes way back. Right now we're focusing on only what happened after Stompn joined G2. From June 10th that Stompn joined G2, these players have faced each other 4 times. All of them have been in European competition, in the EU Menor Liga Stage 1 and in the EU Menor Liga Stage 2. Their first clash was on July 9th, 2025 in the EU Menor Liga Stage 1 group stage. G2 versus Falcons on Bank. G2 were so confident on defeating Falcons this time that they did not ban Bank in the ban phase. At that point, Falcons were on a 33 win streak on Bank. It was near impossible to defeat them in their own house. But G2 came on top with a very tight 8-7 victory. But the difference maker, Stompn. He dropped 18 kills, finished with a 1.53 rating and was plus 12 on KD. Absolutely dominant.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
Oh my fucking god! Oh my...
Shaiiko, on the other hand, finished with just 9 kills with a 0.88 rating and a negative KD. This win for G2 was a statement and a personal win for Stompn. The very last round of this match showed how dominant and confident Stompn was in his first battle with Shaiiko, and their second clash was on July 22nd, 2025 in the EU Menor League Stage 1 Grand Final. After Falcons were sent to the lower bracket of the tournament, they had to play 2 best-of-3 series in one day. They won the semifinals versus Team Secret and made it to the Grand Finals versus G2. G2 and Falcons went head-to-head in a best-of-3 for the stage title. Map Fun Cafe goes 7-4 in favor of G2.
Desperate and it doesn't work! Falcons 1 by 1 will fall! 1v4 for Leakback! He's got closet control, but that's all he's got, and he's been put down!
It was quite an easy win for G2 Esports, and on the second map they went to Bank again. G2 were looking too confident here, and this time Falcons bounced back. They took it 8-7 this time in overtime match point.
He loses no! Solitol's got him dead to rights, and Lyra cannot withstand Shaiiko!
In the last map of this best-of-3 series, everything went perfectly for G2 Esports. G2 and Stompn dominated Consulate with a 7-2 victory.
This plan, this cheeky little idea may have worked out, especially if users can go big for a double on the side and CEO. All up to Stompn now, and he's trapped inside a meeting. Preday's got him locked on down, but he swipes and finds the headshot. It's Shaiiko versus Stompn! It's a big 2K!
Stompn dropped 31 kills, had a 1.16 rating and was plus 9 on KD and had an 80% cost. Shaiiko didn't have the upper hand in this matchup. He dropped 30 kills, was plus 2 on KD and had a 1.02 rating. A good performance, but not enough to stop Stompn. Let's get a little deep into the details of the EML Stage 1, comparing Stompn and Shaiiko not only versus each other, but across the entire European siege. On ratings, you can see that Stompn finished 4th, while Shaiiko is nowhere to be seen in the top 5. On the KD category, Stompn finished 2nd, going plus 39 on KD, and here Shaiiko is among the top 5 with a plus 30 on KD. On entry, you can see Shaiiko going plus 11 here and is among the top 5. Here, Stompn doesn't show up. In the cost category, both of them are nowhere to be seen among the top 5. But in the clutches, Shaiiko is up there. He's among the top 5 best clutches of the tournament with 5 clutches. Here everything is pretty even too, but I still think that Stompn did more. So it's crystal clear that in the EML Stage 1, Stompn had the better individual numbers and took home the trophy. A few months after the EML Stage 1 ended and after the Esports World Cup, EU Menor Liga Stage 2 began. And it was time for their 3rd clash. In their 3rd battle on September 16, 2025 in the EML Stage 2 group stage, this time Falcons answered back. On border, they edged out G2 with a score of 8-7 again. This time Shaiiko stepped up. He got 16 kills, was plus 5 on KD with a 1.26 rating, but Stompn still solid. He got 15 kills with a 1.22 rating and plus 3 on KD. Pretty close, but this time Shaiiko had the better numbers. And their 4th clash that happened just recently on October 14, 2025 in the EML Stage 2 semifinals. This time Falcons crushed G2 in a 2-0 sweep. 7-5 on Chalet.
No, he was just a young boy! Blaz is gone! Alaval's out too!
And another 8-7 all there.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. Alamo managed
trade, but surely meaningless. At this point, he gets stuck on the rotate.
But surprisingly, even though they won this best of 3 series and made their way to the grand final, Shaiiko didn't have a dominant performance. Even though his help was crucial for his team, he had his worst performance versus Stompn yet. He only dropped 15 kills and was -3 on KD with a 0.82 rating. Meanwhile, even in the loss, Stompn has stayed consistent. 21 kills plus 5 on KD with a 1.06 rating. In this matchup, Stompn was the best player in his team, yet Shaiiko was the worst player in his team. In terms of ratings and numbers actually. In the EML stage 2, Shaiiko had a way better time. This time he's the second best player in the rating category while Stompn is the fourth. On KD, Shaiiko dominated the entire Europe going plus 64, but Stompn is plus 38. Still impressive, but not as impressive as Shaiko's. On entry, Shaiiko is still second, and Stompn is nowhere to be found among the top 5. But on costs, clutches, and plants, none of them are among the top 5 players of the league. But here it's actually fair to say that Shaiiko had the better performance. So now that we know that they played each other 4 times, 2 of those clashes went to Stompn and the other 2 went to Shaiiko, it's time to get a little more into details. Stompn has dropped a total of 85 kills across these 4 matches, and Shaiiko only 70 kills. And in the direct gunfights, Stompn had killed Shaiiko 11 times, while Shaiiko has killed Stompn only 9 times. Even in the matches that G2 lost, Stompn kept up strong numbers. Shaiko's best numbers came in Falcons' close victories, but he also had some rough games. But from now on, let's take a look at their achievements as a team. Ever since Stompn joined G2, G2 won the EML Stage 1 and later made it to the Esports World Cup Grand Final. Yeah, they kind of got dominated in the Grand Final versus Team Secret, but they made it to the Grand Finals, that's the point. On the other hand, Shaiiko and Team Falcons lost the EML Stage 1 Grand Final to G2, and in the Siege Esports World Cup, they got eliminated in the first day of the tournament. They literally lost their first 2 matches on the opening day and were done. But recently in the EML Stage 2, they managed to win the tournament and were the champions of Europe once again.
No, Falcons find the answers. It's all up to Mowgli. If anybody can, it's him, but he can't.
So yes, trophies are still even, but the World Cup run gives Stompn the edge in terms of global impact. But yes, in Shaiko's and Team Falcons' defense, you can say that they made it to the both Grand Finals of EML, both in Stage 1 and Stage 2. But the Esports World Cup in between really ruined their legacy here. Stompn pulls slightly here too. He's been the more stable performer. He's dropped more kills, he had better stats, he had fewer lows, and he's done it while helping G2 lift the trophy and reach a global final. But this rivalry, it's far from over. Both of these players are still young and hungry for trophies. If Ubisoft keeps Siege alive long enough and the esports scene keep evolving, we're gonna see a lot more of Stompn versus Shaiiko. And next time, maybe it's not gonna end in a draw and we're gonna have a clear winner.